Hey everybody, this is Sports Fanatic News, and I'm Joe Boric. This is going to be a three-clip part video. Like I said, going to start doing in three segments to make them more organized. Today's are about congratulating the best team in baseball to winning the World Series in the Boston Red Sox, to then critiquing the Sixers' efforts, and then talking about the Flyers' efforts as well as critiquing some of that, even though they did happen to win the ball game. Well, congratulations to the Boston Red Sox on winning the World Series. They are a team that seemed to always find a way, no matter what it was. There would be games where they would be down 7-0. You would go downstairs, eat dinner or something, come back upstairs, and then it'll be 7-5. And it's just ridiculous how much battle and family tie feel this team had, which is very similar to a team we had here in our great city just last year in our bird gang, the Philadelphia Eagles. Sorry, there was a bug. And they were a very family-oriented team. They did a lot of stuff with each other, went out to eat, golfed, etc., which is exactly what this Boston Red Sox team has done, which has formed a great bond, not just baseball-wise, but personal-wise, too, which goes bunches in having great chemistry and winning big ball games, especially when you have guys like, Jackie Bradley Jr., who didn't have a great season, win a MVP in the playoffs. Steve Pearce, who's always been a journeyman, step up and win the World Series MVP. And then Brock Holt be the only person to hit for the cycle in the postseason. If anybody said Brock Holt was going to be the person hit for the cycle in the postseason, they probably would have got slapped. So the fact that this team brings everything together and a great utility player like Holt really steps up is a huge part in why Boston came to win and anchor down the World Series and only lose 3 postseason games. Moving on, we'll start with the good before the bad. The Flyers ended up winning on a great clutch goal by Nolan Patrick at the end of last night's game after a bad penalty taken by Jordan Weal. Jordan Weal has been taking some bad minor penalties. He's been playing solid, at least on the offensive end, getting some aggressive chances, but he needs to tone down his emotions and not take those bad penalties at the end of games. Luckily, Nolan Patrick was there to step up for us. And then finally, on this young season, Ivan Provorov got his first goal and netted it on a shot deflected by him from Giroux. And then, of course, we have Sean Couturier netting the other goal yesterday. The Flyers overall had 11 more shots than the Ducks. Their face-off percentage was actually worse, which is very rare for the Flyers this year, but they were able to overcome that. And then on the power play, we were 1 for 4s, they were 1 for 3, not the greatest power play nights for each squad. Hits really helped the Flyers. They had 25 hits to 17, and blocks really helped the Flyers, also having 25. The Flyers got in the defensive lanes well, limited certain shots. Ratko Gudas, of all people, actually made a few very solid plays getting back on D yesterday. So the team stepped up and won a big game to try to get going, especially on a hard West Coast road trip where your bodies, number one, have to adjust to the time difference. And number two, you got to play these very solid West Coast teams. Nobody out there is really too shabby of a team. Yes, the Kings are struggling, but look at their roster from paper standpoint. They have very solid players still. So it's just one of those things. The Flyers need to keep grinding and get through this West Coast trip, which is not going to be easy. But Arizona, they should be able to beat if they come out and play well. And also, I think they should be able to beat the Kings tomorrow. I think the tough guy in between is going to be those Sharks. Now, moving on to, unfortunately, the bad of last night, which was the Sixers definitely struggled against Toronto. It's like Ben Simmons said, it's remarkable how good a defense Kawhi Leonard is, except I don't know why that was such a surprise. I mean, Kawhi's been looked at for years as a great elite player in the NBA, and his defense gets overshadowed by his offense, but he's also been known to step up on that side. So, yeah, he surprised Simmons, but that's still, I don't like the fact that it seems like he tried to push that aside towards exactly why he had 11 turnovers. There's no really excuse to have that many turnovers. So the Sixers need to clean up their game and get going. Robert Covington's been shooting better percentage-wise throughout all this year so far. That helps. Obviously, J.J. Redick has typically been a menace this year when he comes off the bench. We need to see Markelle get going more of the game prior. He stepped up and made some big plays. Yesterday, not so much. So we need to see him going and get going. So that's kind of the take on the Sixers. They had too many turnovers, too many sloppy plays. They couldn't get going. They need to really tighten up their game and just try to play a cleaner, more organized game. There's too much forced shots at times and forced passes, where I think giving a guy like TJ more playing time will definitely help because he's very good at playmaking and spreading the ball. At some point, if Markelle, who did look better the game prior, doesn't really get going, he's going to have to eventually mix in off the bench because you can't, for a longevity period of time, keep sacrificing W's for the betterment of one person. Anyway, this has been Sports Fanatic News. I'm Joe Bordick. That is the first of the new style of 3-segment videos about the Red Sox. Congratulations on the World Series. Congratulations, Flyers, on a great win. And then Sixers, let's just get back at it and get going. Come on, boys. Have a good one. Peace out, everybody.